Good evening, everyone. This is Mellissa Thomas of Florida National News coming to you with the evening news rundown for your Tuesday, May 26th, 2020. Thanks for tuning in. As always, we like to provide you guys with the latest updates with the world COVID-19 numbers here in the US and the state of Florida. So, according to the World Health Organization, we're looking at over 5.4 million confirmed cases of COVID-19 and over 343,000 confirmed deaths. According to the CDC, we're looking at 1.66 million confirmed cases and over 98,000 confirmed deaths. According to the Florida Department of Health's dashboard, we are at over 52,000 confirmed cases, and we're approaching 2,260 confirmed deaths here in the state. Now, jumping over to your world news story, Italy is seeing a reduction in new COVID-19 cases. So congrats to Italy seeing that drop. As of right now, from Monday, they saw 300 new confirmed cases. Now, mind you, Italy was the nation that was the European epicenter of the pandemic back in March. They had gone into lockdown back in March, so they were locked down for 2 straight months. So the 300 new cases that they're seeing is the lowest they're seeing since February 29th. So congrats to them. As of right now, so far in the last week, they've decided to reopen several establishments, including shops, hairdressers, and restaurants. And in certain regions of Italy, people are now being allowed to freely travel. So they're beginning to see the light of day, much like what we've experienced here in Florida and in other parts of the US as well. So congrats to Italy on that. Now, jumping over here to the US, California is doing something similar. They're now opening retail stores and houses of worship at 25% capacity. Now, this is coming as a result of pressure that they've been experiencing, particularly regarding the houses of worship, pressure that they've been experiencing through protests, protesters who want to see the houses of worship open, people who want the state to reopen, churches that have been putting pressure on the state government, as well as, of course, the president making that decree over the weekend via tweet, saying that he wants all houses of worship open effective immediately for all states, even the ones that are still locked down. So the California Department of Public Health, they decided to release their specific guidelines saying that folks in the retail areas and the houses of worship have to wear masks, or they encourage them to wear masks. They're not mandated, but they encourage them to wear masks, and choirs must do their performances outside to reduce the risk instead of being in an enclosed space. So we'll continue to keep you guys posted on that. That was a very interesting development. In an interesting way, kind of congrats to California for opening that up. The second US story for you, as President Trump goes, also via tweet, President Trump over the weekend kind of threatened to move the Republican National Convention out of Charlotte if he cannot get a guarantee from the governor there, Governor Roy Cooper, who is a Democrat there. But Governor Cooper is insisting that based on public health officials, based on the CDC recommendations, if late August comes and the restrictions are not lifted, then they won't be able to guarantee that the convention can be filled to capacity, which is pretty much what President Trump wants. However, he mentioned he doesn't really want to move it out of North Carolina, but he will if he has to. And Vice President Mike Pence, for his part, mentioned that, hey, if it's not something that they can guarantee right now, then they're willing to move to more open states such as Texas, Florida, or Georgia. And a quick update on that, Governor Ron DeSantis, during his press conference today, announcing 2 new judges appointed to the Florida Supreme Court, mentioned that, hey, he's open and welcoming the RNC to the state of Florida. And he said, hey, I'm a Republican governor, but I welcome the DNC to Florida as well. So we wanted to lay that question out before you guys as the audience question today. What are your thoughts on the possibility of the RNC or the DNC or both coming to Florida, especially given the now tight window of time, logistically speaking, to prepare for something like that, given the current COVID-19 numbers here in Florida and the way things are going here? Give us your thoughts below. Leave a comment. We'd love to hear from you. And hey, if you leave it during the commercial break or before, we'd gladly read your comments after the commercial break. But as of right now, we're going to take that break and come back with another story. Be right back.
I'm not picking it up. You pick it up.
I'm not picking it up.
Well, somebody's got to pick it up.
I'll pick it up. They're clean. 'Cause my hand is clean. Oh yeah, I'm Charmin clean. That's how I know they're clean.
Charmin Ultra Strong is woven like a washcloth and just cleans better.
Yeah, I'm Charmin
The
clean.
kid does have a
That's
point.
right, my hiney's clean.
Enjoy the go with Charmin. And for an extra clean finish, try Charmin Flushable Wipes.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for continuing to tune in. Now to your Florida story. As of right now, given the travel ban on Brazil, Central Florida stands to get a huge hit on their economy with the Brazilian travel ban. Obviously, this ban will go into effect Thursday, as you heard us report here yesterday. But due to the growth of the Brazilian population in Central Florida over the last few years, and given the fact that the Brazilian population moves to the area and opens small businesses, they've been a huge boost to the Central Florida economy. And for Brazilians who travel here as tourists, they tend to spend twice as much on vacations here, and they tend to stay longer compared to other tourists. They tend to spend on average $1,000 per person per day. So this is something that Mayor Demings has to take into consideration, Governor Ron DeSantis as well, even though Governor Ron DeSantis was the one that wanted to ward off the possibility of the COVID-19 threatening a second wave here in the state. But we'll keep our eyes on that as well. We continue to keep you updated. Now, jumping to our business story, the New York Stock Exchange officially opened again today with some major restrictions. They allowed only a quarter of their typical traders in. And as you see in the image there is now plexiglass that is on the trading room floor to facilitate social distancing, because of course that is important. New York is still a hotspot where COVID-19 is concerned nationally. So plexiglass is now in place, fewer people on the floor, and they have banned visitors and the media from coming to the New York Stock Exchange as of right now in terms of the restrictions. And the folks who are allowed in, the traders who are on the floor, had to sign quite the waiver. This waiver was shared with the Wall Street Journal, excuse me. Now, here's what some of the waiver entails, okay? Quote, they acknowledge the possibility of contracting COVID-19, respiratory failure, death, and transmitting COVID-19 to family or household and others who may also suffer these effects. Quite an interesting and stark waiver. However, that is where things are right now with the New York Stock Exchange. The stock exchange had been closed for 2 months, given the lockdown, particularly in New York, given the spike that New York State experienced in the COVID-19 pandemic. So that is the update there. In a quick sports story for you guys, down here, the Tampa Bay Rays have finally returned to Tropicana Field for their very first workout since the lockdown. About 14 players came to the field on Monday to get their workouts. They didn't go into the batting cage or the weight rooms, but they did get a full workout on Monday for their Memorial Day. And some were happy to be back. Some felt that it was a little bit weird, given the restrictions. However, this is where sports is right now, as you've heard Casey reporting over the last few weeks. And here in Orlando City and Orlando Pride have experienced the same thing. The Orlando Pride, as part of the National Women's Soccer League's Phase 2 reopening, they began their Phase 2 as well on Monday. They went to Sylvan Lake Park and practiced in small groups. The maximum was 8. But as we heard Carson Pickett mention, she was happy to be back with her teammates. It felt to her like a small reunion. So congrats to those players being able to be back out and training in their element as opposed to training at home. So we'll continue to keep you guys posted where that's concerned. And Casey will be back with the FNN Sports Take on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. As of right now, we're going to take one more quick commercial break, and Jamecia will be here for the entertainment 4 for 4. We'll be right back.
We wanted to move back home to be closer to his family. We decided to go with pods because things were stressful enough.
We weren't sure how long we were going to need storage for, so we needed something that was flexible, and then they can deliver the container to wherever we move to.
We haven't found the perfect house yet, but we're still looking.
All right, welcome back, guys. As promised, we have the entertainment 4 for 4 with the beautiful Jamecia. Welcome back.
Hey, thank you for having me back. It's a beautiful sunny day here in Los Angeles, California. I'm Jamecia Stedemeyer, and this is your Entertainment 4 for 4. So we're going to start off today with number 1. J.K. Rowling drops a new book. So we all know J.K. Rowling from the Harry Potter book series. Now, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, J.K. Rowling has made a deal with her publishing company to release a free read online. So actually today she dropped the first 2 chapters of her new book, The Ickabog. The Ickabog is actually a bedtime story that she created for her children about a decade ago. And it was actually set to be her first release, but instead she decided to write her adult book known as Harry Potter. So just a little tidbit about the book. It's a standalone story, so it has nothing to do with the Harry Potter series, but it takes place in an imaginary world where the characters deal with truth and abuse of power. So if you wanted to check out that book, you can actually go to her website, www.thetheicabog.com, and she will be dropping a new chapter every week until July 10th. And it's actually set for families and children, about age range 7 to 9. But I'm sure we're all going to check it out. I mean, it's J.K. Rowling. But her publishing has actually set up a drawing competition. So if you wanted to compete in that drawing competition, each week she'll kind of give you some ideas on things to draw. And if you are a winner, they will actually be publishing those images in the published version of the book that will be released later this year. So number 2, we have the Daytime Emmys. The nominations came out last Thursday after we completed our show. And we have congratulations to Kelly Clarkson and Alex Trebek of Jeopardy! They were of some of the nominees for this year's Daytime Emmy Awards. Now, interesting fact, the Daytime Emmy Awards, they honor outstanding shows aired from 2 a.m. to 6 p.m. So it's an interesting time frame. I didn't actually know that. So that was my little note, my lesson for today. But some of the other nominees that were nominated, we have General Hospital with 23 bids, Days of Our Lives with 22. The Macy's Thanksgiving Parade got 4, one of my favorites. Sesame Street came in with 8. And of course, as we said, Kelly Clarkson's show, it's her first year for her series. So that was an honor for her to be nominated. And if Alex Trebek wins, this will be his 2nd year in a row. So definitely you guys have to make sure you put that date on your calendar. If you're in the entertainment loving type of person, it's going to be June 26th on CBS. And you can check it out live as well as CBS All Access and some of the other platforms that they have. Going on to number 3. Some good news with John Krasinski with Get Some Good News. So John is an outstanding actor as well as a stage performer who started his own YouTube show called Some Good News. And as of today, he definitely got some good news as his show was put into a bidding war. And who has won? None other than CBS. Well, CBS All Access, that is. And CBS All Access, you ask, what is that? So CBS has their streaming platform, which is CBS All Access, which I believe ranges from $4.99 to $6.99 a month. Originally, when John released the Good News show, it was on YouTube and it was a free show. It got really big highlights from him doing the Office reunion, as well as some Hamilton performance, and he hosted a virtual prom and graduation for some students going through the pandemic. So he's had several viewers, up to the 17 millions, and they just keep getting views. But I definitely want to congratulate him on that honor. He's going to stay on there as an executive producer. Unfortunately, he will not be hosting. So I'm interested to see who the new host will be, but I'm sure they'll still be bringing us some great news. So you guys keep supporting it because it's a great concept that he came up with just to be able to get good news, especially how he started in such a low time when we all needed some good news. And number 4. Verzuz TV. Jagged Edge and 112 yesterday went at it. Well, we won't say they went at it, but they had a celebration battle going 20 for 20. So each artist plays 20 of their greatest hits, and the other artist answers back. As we all know, 112 and Jagged Edge is a big R&B artist from the 90s. So all the ladies were going crazy yesterday on Verzuz TV, which actually Verzuz TV is not. Was curated by two super producers, Timberland and Swiss Beats. So they curated this about a couple months ago at the beginning of the pandemic to really help artists be able to share their music. And what it's done is it allowed these artists to get tripling their numbers and streams and views and really helping them get through this pandemic, because at the same time, artists get paid off of live performances and going out and the appearances that they do, which they can't do either. So they created this really great concept, Verzuz TV, where they asked two of the industry artists, which they've done in the past, Teddy Riley and Babyface. They did Jill Scott versus Erykah Badu, Ludacris versus Nelly, and as we just said, Jagged Edge versus 112. And a lot of these things have literally stopped the internet, especially with Babyface and Teddy Riley being such an epic people in the industry of entertainment and music. So I'm really a fan of this concept, and it has really helped artists out in several different ways. So if you want to check out their next, what will be announced for the next live stream performance, go to @Verzuz TV. So it's .tv, not .com, but Verzuz.tv, or you can go to their Instagram, which is VERZUZ TV. And that's on Instagram, so you can check out when the next battle is. You guys, I want to say thank you guys for watching the Entertainment 444. I have a just special shout out. It's my god sister's birthday, Maya, pal. Happy birthday. It's her 20th. I love you. And you guys can always follow me on THE_ENT_mobile. This is Jamecia. Back to you, Mellissa.
Thank you so much, Jamecia. Appreciate you as always. And ladies and gentlemen, that does it here for us at the Evening News Rundown. If you haven't yet, be sure to like us on Facebook. You can find us at Florida National News, at FNN News TV, or at FNN News Live. And be sure to subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already. You can find us there at Florida National News as well. Be sure to click the little bell icon so you never miss a single episode. Now, that does it here for us. However, tomorrow, be sure to tune in. I'll be back tomorrow afternoon with your Evening News Rundown. And at 8 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, Casey will be back with the FNN Sports Take. But thank you guys so much. We look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day.